Welcome back to your favorite channel. It's your boy PBK9's giving it to you the way I always do. Fair and unbiased, raw and uncut. Some brothers gonna like it, some sisters ain't. You know, like I always say, man, some gonna like it, some ain't. Y'all hit that like button up out there. Drop down in the comments like you always do. Big shout out to the brothers that rock with me in the chat, in the comments. Big salute to the folk that be watching the videos that don't ever get in the comments or the chat. You watching it from behind the scenes. Big shout out to you. Big salute to all the dog lovers across the world, man, that's taking care of these dogs, doing what they gotta do, whether having a tough week or okay week. Doing what you gotta do with these dogs, man. We got some dog news, some dog talk today. I'm gonna speak a little bit about the culling process, and we're gonna talk about the importance of that and certain things. And then we're gonna speak about Rascal and Eli as well. I wanna ask y'all a question to my brothers as Rascal and Eli fans, you know, but we got a lot of news today. It's gonna be like a marathon. We got over the past week and a half, we got so many pit bull mauling attacks, and all of them aren't real pit bulls, but we got to give you the news. Some of them are real pit bulls. It don't even matter at this point. All we do is giving you the news because we got sad situations that went down. And like I say, if you got a weak heart, some of this stuff may be hard for you to watch when it comes to the level of punishment these dogs did to the people they attacked. And some of them, they died. So we're going to get into this, man. But before we get into this news with the dog attacks, we're going to get into this Pentagon official getting sentenced to 18 months in federal prison for his alleged role in, dog fighting ring. He said he was involved with it for 20 years. I'm about to let y'all get the video. The thing I want to say, you can't judge everybody from off one man's situation. Everybody is different. Everybody got their own leverage when it comes to going to court. Everybody got their own background when it comes to you having a worse background than the next. Plus the fact that this man only got caught up in the dogs is another fact. A lot of y'all trying to compare what you going through to what this man going through. This man only got caught up with dogs. You got caught up with dogs, guns, dope, fentanyl, weed, and domestic violence. You know what I'm saying? So you can't compare what you going through to what he going through, but all I'm doing is giving my brothers and sisters this news so you know how it's going out here with these dogs today. So what we about to do is get into this DOD Pentagon official sentenced to 18 months for dog fighting.
It was an emotional hearing, actually. Frederick Moorfield Jr. stood, addressed the court, and cried as he told the judge, I made a mistake, I own my mistake, and I will pay the price. And then he was handed a 24-month sentence for dogfighting in a first-of-its-kind federal case here in Maryland. Mr. Moorfield, you expressed some really heartfelt remorse, and you apologized. We don't have a camera in the courtroom. Do you want to say any of it on camera now?
Nothing to say. It was all done in the courtroom. Have a good day.
No comment from 64-year-old ex-DOD official Frederick Moorfield Jr. after learning his fate in Maryland's first ever federal dogfighting case. Are any of you able to comment at all on the case?
I have to refer to the FBI Field Office for Public Affairs in Washington, D.C.
What about the DOD or the USDA?
No, we're not authorized to comment. Thank you.
Moorfield was indicted last year. He pleaded guilty in September and admitted that under the moniker Jihad Kennels, he used his home in Arnold to keep, train, fight, and kill dogs by electrocuting them with jumper cables and a car battery for more than 20 years. The judge called that heinous and cruel on an exceptional scale. Federal sentencing guidelines suggested 12 to 18 months. Federal prosecutors pushed for 30. Hi, Mr. Levin. What do you make of the sentence that was handed down today?
No comment today. We'll have a press release.
Moorfield's lawyer and 5 family members asked for mercy, and Moorfield himself stood, addressed the court, and called himself remorseful, sorry, ashamed, embarrassed, and selfish. And then the judge imposed a sentence of 24 months, the first 18 in federal prison, followed by 6 months of home detention. The judge noted Moorfield is the highest ranking U.S. government official ever charged in a federal dog fighting case in the United States. He also ordered him to report to begin serving that sentence on February 12th. Reporting live from U.S. District Court downtown tonight, I'm Kate Amara, WBAL, TV 11 News.
Now, what y'all think about that? And all I'm gonna say is, when it comes to every situation is different. Every man's situation is different. Every man got their own background. Every man got their own leverage to use, whatever they use. Everything is different. You can't compare one to the other sometimes because it's a whole different situation. Some brothers might say, oh, the man only got this, the man only got that. The man only had dog fighting. A lot of y'all have drugs, guns, the M word, the K word, everything else behind it. So everybody's different, man. And like I said, everybody don't got the same leverage that the next person has or does. And I'm not about to call no names and get out here and say this and say that. All we can go by is what the news say, what the news give you. And all I'm trying to do is give my brothers and sisters this news when it comes to these dogs. Not make no assumptions at this point. Not make no assumptions. But hey, it just is what it is, man. Big thanks, like I said, to everybody supporting the channel. We gonna keep this thing going, man. If you got a faint heart, a lot of the stuff that we about to look at, you may wanna, at least send the kids to another room. It's a lot of this stuff. It may be hard to look at for you when it comes to these animal attacks and dog attacks, and especially when it comes to young kids and stuff like that. And I just got to give it to you, man. Fair and uncut, raw and unbiased. And the thing we got to understand, me, you, her, him, everybody, all of us, man. No matter if we think our dogs are aggressive or not, no matter if we think our dogs are bite or not, we just need to try to practice some security, when it comes to these dogs. Practice extra, being extra careful, man. You can't be too careful, and dogs do things sometimes unexpectedly. Never like what's the name of that rule? The Murphy's Law or something. Always expect something to go wrong. You can't just, like I know I got Merino trained. He was a Malinois, but I would never. I'll ask anybody who came around me with Merino. I never had him loose around people. You know what I'm saying? I never had him loose around people because I didn't have him to that point where he wasn't the kind of dog that, you can come up and pet and all that type of stuff. He wasn't that kind of dog where you can just, friendly, you can come up pet. Now I can walk by you and all that. He's not gonna mess with you. But you're not, he's not the friendly dog. He's not the type of dog that I would, go take to the restaurant unless I really needed some type of security, at that restaurant. I wouldn't take him to chill at a place like that because he's on go 24/7, and he know how to chill and relax, but all it takes is somebody to make the wrong move, and a dog like him, can make the wrong move for me. So I know how to handle that situation. I never let nobody, pick at him or none of that type of stuff unless we was working in the soups and that type of, messing with the training and different things. And no matter what breed of dog you got, man, even like I said, even if he's not aggressive, we just got to practice some safety measures sometime and take caution, And I say I'm not into the Malinois and stuff. I love the Malinois. I don't got the time to keep making more and more and more and more. I can have me one or two Malinois and I'm cool, and at the most, no more than that. Cause anime driving me crazy, like I told y'all before. You know how it get when you and a person having a bad relationship and you really don't want to deal with them no more. So everything they do aggravates you. Like all that barking aggravates a brother right now. But at the end of the day, man, it just is what it is. They're great dogs. They just need, people to deal with them that's gonna give them that time they need. If you give them that time they need, you're going to see something unbelievable when it comes to them dogs, But it just is what it is, man. We keep this thing going. Like I said, we're going to talk about percentages in a minute. spoke about the Pentagon official getting 18 months, you know, and I'm also going to speak about a little bit about that Rascal and Eli stuff, you know, once we get to speaking about the Cullen and all that, you know, so we'll speak about that Rascal and Eli. But the first thing when we get to this news, I want to give y'all brothers where we got a pit bull attack, 2 young girls, you know, 2 young girls. We're going to get into that. It's your boy PBK9s, and like I told you, some of this stuff may be hard for you to watch. We got a lot of news today. We got a lot of news, and all the news is within the last week or so, and all the news is pit bull attacks. Like I said, it's a marathon today on bulldog attack breeds. Bulldog breeds attacking people. So let's get into this, man. PBK9's Dog Talk and News.
2 young girls are in the hospital after being attacked by a dog. It happened around 3 o'clock this afternoon at an apartment complex on West Commerce near South General McMullen. Police say a woman was babysitting the 2 toddlers, ages 1 and 3, when she was giving the family's pit bull a bath. Investigators say the dog broke away, ran into the bedroom, and attacked the 2 girls. Both were bitten in the face and taken to the hospital in serious condition. ACS has taken the dog and is working to determine if it will be classified as a dangerous dog. They did give us a statement saying in part both the adult caretaker and the owner of the animal face multiple citations for the bite itself and lack of legally required rabies vaccination and microchip. The investigation has begun in earnest, but it is already very clear irresponsible pet care and guardianship are the root cause of tragedies like this, and today's attack was 100% preventable. So what goes into classifying a dog as dangerous? State law says a dangerous dog is one that makes unprovoked attacks causing injury or behaves in a way that makes people fear they might be attacked. You have to fill out an affidavit before ACS can start an investigation. If a judge deems the dog dangerous, that doesn't necessarily mean it will be put down. There are actually 146 dangerous dogs living in San Antonio right now. Owners have very strict requirements to meet in order to take a dangerous dog back home and keep him there. A judge could also order that the dog be put down. Right now, we know the dog involved in this attack will stay in quarantine for 10 days. We've seen several high-profile dog bites in our area just this year. Here are just a few that we've covered for you. 1-year-old Jariah Johnson was killed in Northeast Bexar County after his babysitter's dog mauled him just days before that. A 3-year-old was bit in the face on the east side. And in September, a pack of 8 dogs attacked a woman on the southwest side. And in July, a homeless man's dog attacked a woman while she walked on a trailway, injuring her and her dog. We've got full coverage of these incidents and more on our website if you want to learn more.
Welcome back to the channel. To anybody that's just tuning in, man, we've been talking about, like I said, we got animal attacks, a bunch of animal attacks, pit bull attacks across the country over the past week and a half. I let these brothers know that we're going to speak about Cullen, and I want to ask y'all a question about the Rascal and Eli stuff as well. But right now, I'm just giving you the animal attacks, you know, as they came across the country. And most of these dogs are pit bull breed dogs. I don't think any of these videos are dogs of another breed. I could be wrong, but I think all these are pit bull breed dogs. Now we're gonna go to Bexar County, where there are 7 cases up, you know, in the past couple months on dog attacks. So we're gonna go to Bexar County. We're gonna watch this video and look at the statistics and how it's going down over there. PBK9s, y'all hit that like button up. Let's get into it.
Saturday marked yet another major dog attack in San Antonio. This one seriously injuring a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. This latest attack is the 7th one that we have told you about in Bexar County this year. 5 of those involved children, and in one case, a 1-year-old was killed. Courtney Friedman looks at the unfortunate similarities in these cases and how dog owners can and should be getting help and training.
KSAT has reported on 7 dog attacks in San Antonio and Bexar County this year, all packed into the last few months. On September 4th, a woman was walking on the southwest side when she was attacked by a pack of 6 dogs. They then ripped off a strobe light on an SAPD officer's car as he tried to help her. Animal Care Services deemed the dogs dangerous and euthanized them. The dog's owner faces several criminal citations for the bites, letting the dogs roam freely, and having no proof of rabies vaccine or microchip. Then on September 28th, 2 dogs broke through a fence and attacked an SAPD canine whose handler had to step in. The dog's owner received 6 citations. On October 1st, a pit bull bit a 2-year-old boy in Northeast Bexar County. The BCSO deputy who responded said the dog charged at him and he had to shoot it. 5 days later, a tragedy. 3 dogs broke through a door at a home near Converse and mauled a 1-year-old boy, then bit the 13-year-old girl trying to protect him. The baby died, and the dogs were later euthanized. That dog's owner was arrested and taken to jail, now awaiting her criminal case. 4 days later, October 12th, a 2-year-old was bit in the face while reaching out to a dog on a leash in the Northwest Bexar County. The boy went to the hospital with cuts to his mouth. On October 23rd, a 16-year-old was attacked by a pit bull in her driveway, and it was caught on the doorbell camera. The dog was quarantined for 10 days, but her mom is asking for more to happen in the case. And that brings us to Saturday, when a pit bull attacked a 1-year-old and 3-year-old at a West Side apartment. They were rushed to the hospital with serious injuries. ACS took the dog. The babysitter and the dog's owner, who is not the kid's parent, each faced 2 criminal citations for the bite and a lack of rabies vaccination and microchip. Because of all of this, earlier this month, San Antonio City Council unanimously passed stricter penalties for dog owners.
They more than doubled the penalties for repeat offenders and allowed the sterilization of dangerous dogs before they are returned to their owners. Courtney Friedman, KSAT 12 News.
Now, to tell this story completely, you have to look beneath the surface of this big issue. Animal Care Services says that irresponsible pet care and guardianship contributes to these attacks in our communities. Courtney talked to a dog trainer about how you can be proactive in preventing this problem in San Antonio, and she's shining a light on that and resources that are out there to help pet owners do better. We'll have that story tomorrow on the news at 6 o'clock.
Now, let me say this real quick. Something I left off, I tried to put it on the end of the last video when we was talking about the treadmills. You know, summertime, definitely. Wintertime, if it's too cold, you know, with just common sense, I wouldn't do it like that. But I always wash my dogs down. You know, like I say, you want to get your dog familiar to a process. You know, if you going to wipe them down and all that before you get in the meal or before you go weight pulling or whatever you're doing, most people ain't wiping them down before they go into confirmation. But if you wiping your dog down, you don't want that water to be something new to him. So you wiping him down while he on the meal. Give him a little sponge. Let him get his water from the sponge. Remember I was telling you about put the water in the little pan? Sometimes you can let him get the water from the actual sponge and just drip it around his face and cool him off. You know, and you getting him familiar with the process so when he does go into competing and he's around water, he won't be shocked. And I'm not talking about going in shock. He won't be shocked and seeing something new and he act different on you, you know. But I just had to throw that out there because I left that off yesterday, you know. And wintertime, if it's cold, especially up north, my up north brothers, you know, you can't be putting water on dogs like that, you know. But yeah, man, let's get into this. We got 3 people attacked in Los Angeles. You know, we got 3 people attacked in Los Angeles by their own dog. So what we're going to do, man, we're going to get into this PBK9 style. Like I said, I'm going through this news, my brothers. Y'all check this out. We're going to be talking about these dogs afterwards. You know what I'm saying? And do it the way we always do it. So let's go.
Horrific story out of Norwalk where 3 people were injured after being attacked by their dog.
Yeah, the incident happened at a family gathering. KTLA 5's Aaron Myers live from Norwalk with the details. Aaron, good morning.
Good morning to you both. That's right. 3 people were hurt, 2 men and a woman. We know one of the men, he jumped in and tried to stop this attack. We're told he stabbed the dog. Now we can go ahead and get into some video from last night. You can see a man in an ambulance with bandages on his hand and his nose. A woman also seen in an ambulance after the attack happened. The sheriff's department says they got a call for this attack around 7:30 last night at a home on the 14,100 block of Crossdale Avenue. As you said, a family gathering was taking place, according to authorities. Now, they say the dog, said to be a bull mastiff, started attacking, and another man intervened and stabbed the dog with a knife to try and stop it. That man had injuries to his hand, most likely from a knife cut, according to deputies. The other 2 victims, believed to be brother and sister, had dog bites to the arms and legs. All 3 were taken to the hospital with minor to moderate injuries. Now, this time, we don't know if the victims lived at the home or were visiting for that gathering. The dog died and was picked up by animal control. We're told there were no other dogs on the property and that there is no threat to the community. Investigators say they do not believe there have been any other reports of incidents with this dog before. Now, back here live, we are told the dog lived at the property. At this time, it's not known why it attacked. Reporting live here in Norwalk, I'm Erin Myers. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Now, let's go to Houston, where a woman about to tell her story after being attacked by a pit bull, and the dog attacked her son and pregnant daughter first. She went to defend them and trying to beat the dog off, and the dog gave her the worst part of the punishment. So she's about to tell her story, and we going, like I said, we going to Houston for this story right here. It's your boy PBK9s, man. Y'all sit tight. Y'all hit that like button if you're just getting up in here. You hadn't hit that like button yet. If you've been in here already from the start, you hadn't hit that like button up yet, man. What you waiting on? Go and hit that thing up, my brothers and my sisters out there. And like I said, salute to all the dog lovers from one side of the country to the other side, from one side of the world to the other side. All my European dog brothers, Bear 187, Bella UK, all my folk in Africa, all my folk in South Africa, all my folk in Ukraine, all my folk in Romania, all my folk in Iceland. Salute to all my brothers, guys. I ain't seen a lot of y'all in a while, man. Big salute to you. And man, shout out to you, and hope everybody doing great across this world. Next, we got, like I said, we got this woman telling her story from a dog attack, man.
And new at 10 tonight, a woman in Montgomery County is out of the hospital after a vicious dog attack. She tells us it started when several pit bulls went after her family.
And when the dogs turned on her, she did not think she was going to survive, but thank goodness she did. And she's sharing her story with Stephen Going tonight.
Len, Mia, the woman we spoke to, says her son and her daughter, who is pregnant, were the first to be attacked. But when she tried to step in and help, she was injured even worse than they were. We want to warn you, some of the images you're about to see in this story are graphic. The stitches on her face tell only part of the story. Tonight, Michelle Means says her entire body is still in pain after the vicious dog attack that sent her to the hospital Monday.
It was a shock for us, for them to have done what they did.
It happened after she got a call from her 13-year-old son. He'd been walking to his sister's house a few doors down.
He's crying, he's upset. He said, tell me that the dogs had attacked him and Megan was pretty seriously injured and she needed me.
That's when Michelle rushed over and 8 pit bulls surrounded her, out for blood.
They're chomping down on you and just pulling you apart piece by piece, and you're doing everything you can to fight them off.
She says a neighbor eventually came to help, but by that time the dogs had already bitten her face, neck, arms, and legs. After that, she was rushed to the hospital where she had to have 2 different surgeries and be treated for rabies.
Everywhere that they bit, they got down to it, but they actually didn't get muscle. It could have been so much worse, and I realize how blessed I am that I came out of that the way I did.
Tonight, Michelle tells us the dogs belong to a neighbor and she'd seen them before. While she doesn't know what caused them to attack, she says she doesn't blame the owners. She warns others, though, to be careful around animals they don't know.
Even if a dog looks friendly, it doesn't mean they're necessarily friendly. Even if you don't provoke them, doesn't mean they won't attack.
Stephen Goen, KHOU 11 News.
Now, finally, we got a woman who passes away after being mauled by dogs in coarse gold, deputies say. So I'm going to let y'all brothers and sisters get into this. And like I said, man, all these are pit bull breed dogs, man. When you get these dogs, no matter how cuddly they seem, no matter how nice they seem, you just always got to practice an extra safety measure when it comes to any dog. So let's get into it, man. Coarse gold, woman dies from a dog attack. Let's go.
Thank you, Vince. New at 11, a breaking update now
on that story that we first brought to you about a dog mauling death in Coarsegold. We first reported on this earlier this evening. One of the two dogs involved is now on the loose, and authorities are urging people in the area to be on alert. This attack happened around 3:30 this afternoon on Road 417 between Highway 41 and Quartz Mountain Road. That's near Chick-Chancey Gold Resort and Casino. The Madera County Sheriff's Office says the woman died at the scene. She has not yet been identified. Now take a look at video from the area earlier tonight. Authorities say the two dogs escaped while under the control of animal control. Deputies had to euthanize one of the animals while the other escaped. The animal that escaped is described as a large pit bull mix with white fur. Authorities are urging people not to approach any loose dogs and to call 911. Authorities say the dog's owner is cooperating with the investigation.
All right, my brothers and sisters, I got to ask my Eli and my Rascal brothers, a couple questions. And to any brother that may want to know, it's just a simple question I got, and I want to know. I look at Rascal pedigree, and it's pretty much Eli, at least 3/4 Eli. My thing is, wouldn't Rascal be an Eli dog? So if you take Rascal and breed him back to an Eli dog, what would you call that? Rascal Eli or just straight Eli? That's all I want to know is like Rascal, and that goes the same way with a lot of other bloodlines. It goes the same way. And it's what I tell brothers, who came up with you gotta have 4 generations of bloodlines to call something your blood. Is what I'm trying to figure out. Who came up with that? We got rule. We got where the rules came up from. We got where this came up from. We got where that came up from. But we don't got where create your own bloodline guidelines come in at. Everybody got their guidelines from a different person. These dogs be bloodlines. We got, like I said before, we got to wait 4 or 5 generations and make our crosses and do all that. These brothers be having dogs directly off the dogs. The dogs some of the dogs come directly off the dogs, and they bloodlines. Once these brothers make names with these dogs, they making bloodlines. So I think Rascal is an 8-time winner. So you telling me no matter who, see, Rascal could have been directly off Eli. If he was an 8-time winner, he would have created his own line. Now, how is he creating his own line? How is the brother who got Rascal or whoever running Rascal creating, or Rascal himself gonna create his own line, if he's directly off Eli? He's nothing but an Eli dog. If he was directly off Eli and he was nothing but an Eli dog, I'm saying. These dogs coming directly off these dogs, and these brothers from the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, they made bloodlines when they made names for their dogs. They didn't wait for the generations, is all I'm saying. And I want somebody to come up on the show that can prove to me that these brothers waited 4 generations before they called that their bloodline. Somebody get on the show and wait and tell me that these brothers had to make crosses in order to call that their bloodline. Brother could have got 2 dogs off Brother Carver yard, made that dog into a champion, and that dog is a bloodline right now today. Just because. And he ain't got no crosses in him. Straight bred like Mr. Carver bred him. But he's known for this other brother who got him and made a name for him. So all I'm asking is, would Rascal be considered an Eli dog? And if you take Rascal himself and breed him back to a Eli female, what kind of dog is that? Rascal Eli or Eli dog? Or is it whatever is comfortable coming off your tongue? Whenever you're talking to whatever dog man you're talking to. That's all I'm asking, man, as far as that Rascal and Eli stuff. I'm looking at the ped, and like I said, you see hellified Eli in there. And the most important dog in all them dogs, what I see Mr. Boudreaux was breeding was that shrug dog. That dog was one of the ones, and that Booz or Bowes dog was some of the dogs that, are the ones that's going to be credited for creating that Eli stuff. If you ask me, and that Blind Billy stuff, which is, I think, want to say the bowls coming with the bowl stuff coming down off of. And the Eli may be coming out. I haven't looked all the way in that pedigree, but I'm just going off what I read and what I remember right now. And, I just had that question, man. Is your Rascal dogs considered Eli dogs? Your pure Rascal, your Jeep Rascal, wouldn't that just be a Jeep Eli? What's the difference between your Jeep Eli dogs that ain't coming off Rascal, but they coming off pure Shrug and Bowles dogs? What's the difference? Now, the Mexican Eli stuff, if I ain't mistaken, it is coming down off of, I want to say that Bowles stuff is in some of that, and that T-Bud or something like that. But I want to say that Bowles is in some of that stuff too. So what makes it Mexican Eli? Because a Mexican brother raised some great dogs? What we should have had was the dog that represented for the Eli dogs that he bred. Say if he had a dog named Flex. His dog named Flex, and he was a Mexican brother that ran the Eli dogs, made a great dog. Now everybody, from America want dogs off of Flex because they know how he's producing. Just Mexican Eli strain alone, brothers don't have the knowledge to know which one of the dogs are actually the one that's producing. Off the Mexican Eli stuff. And like I said, what makes it Mexican Eli? And like I said this a few seconds ago, somebody come on my show, please. I want somebody to come on my show to tell me where that 4th generation thing started from and who started that and what year it started in. Because nobody went by that rules except for the modern day dog brothers. Some don't understand, some do. They just, some folk just want to settle for that the rest of their life. For whatever they got when it comes to the dogs. They're just going to run that. Just because the next person going to settle for, they just running Eli dogs, don't mean you can't make a name for your dog. Because that's the same thing we're going to be doing now when it comes to the Mexican Eli, what I'm talking about. I can't call a Mexican Eli champion that's as known as our top dogs in the rum list, our top 5 dogs in the rum list. He don't got to be in the rum list, period. Just be known. I can't think of a Mexican Eli dog that's as known as Ship. I can't think of a Mexican Eli dog that's as known as Boogie Boy. That's all I'm saying. Make names for your dog. Is it a dog named Mexican Eli? Now, if it's a dog named Mexican Eli, then that's different. As far as I know, there's not a dog named that. But if it is a dog named that, that's what I'm talking about. Coming down off of a dog name. Because Mexican Eli, how the hell he get the name Mexican Eli? Outside of American brothers calling it Mexican Eli because this is a Mexican brother with an Eli strain of dogs. He just like you, he just like me, he just like our European brothers. It ain't European Eli, is it? It ain't European yellow, is it? It's yellow. It's Eli. So why is it Mexican Eli? When we don't have what makes it Mexican Eli is what I'm saying. And I done did the article on them brothers, great dog brothers. Great dog brothers, and they put their foot down in the dog game, for the dogs that they created. But what makes them Mexican Eli dogs, Or what makes you want to call them Mexican Eli? Is that what did that name come because of a type of prejudicial talk, stereotype, typical talk? You know what I'm saying? Because that brother Mexican, you want to call him a Mexican, not just a regular human, and call it a Mexican Eli? Is the Mexican Eli brothers going through the same thing that the termite brother going through? Or went through, rather? I'm just asking, man, give me some knowledge when it come, to that stuff, man, and what we speaking about. Give me a little bit of knowledge on that, man, because I'm just wondering, man, because I see two prominent dogs that we all talk about. And really, when it come to yellow, we got Yellow John and all that. But, we got Red Boy, whole bloodline. Yellow will be credited for Red Boy Jocko, But with Eli, he credited with his line, and Rascal credited with his line. Some folk might say it's a little bit something different. And of course. But Rascal is predominantly Eli dog. And all I said is, if you take an Eli female back to Rascal, are those called Rascal Eli dogs? If you take your dog in modern day time that's predominantly Rascal, top and bottom, all you see is Rascal. And you take it to some of Mr. Boudreaux stuff, isn't that all going to be going back to Mr. Boudreaux stuff? I'm just asking, man, drop down, like I said, drop down in the chat. You know what I'm saying? If you want to support the channel, hit me up in the super chat or hit me up in the Cash App like brothers and sisters always do, man. Appreciate all donations are appreciated to the channel. All donations are appreciated. Now, I want to speak a little bit about culling and the culling process. I seen brothers speaking on this on Facebook, and everybody got their own opinion about that as well. Now, what I want to ask brothers, when we do culling back in the days, right? When we did culling, what was the purpose of that? To get the best dogs out of that situation, right? Okay, now let me ask you a question. If we got 10 puppies, right? And we end up having to cull all the puppies except for 3, right? We cull all the puppies except for 3. Now, my question is, what's your goal in this? If we cull all the puppies except for 3, we're going to go to math class real quick now. We cull all the puppies off a litter of 10 except for 3. What's your goal on the next litter? When it comes to culling and the whole culling process, what's the purpose? We had 10 puppies. We had 3 that made the cut off 10 puppies, right? So the goal on the next litter, to know if we made our culling and everything, we did everything right, we should get 5 puppies this time that make the cut, right? Am I right or am I wrong? Drop down in the chat. Am I right or am I wrong? If we make a culling, the first cull, we cull 7 of them, 10 puppies. We keep the best 3. We only got 3 off that last litter worth keeping, but they was fire. We took them 2 and bred them back, and we got an extra one over here, but we took 2 of them and bred them back. Are we or are we not supposed to get at least better than 3 this time? Is that our goal to get better than 3? So say for instance, we get a litter of 10 this time. Off them puppies that we culled, we get another litter of 10. This time, we get 5 puppies that make the cut, right? This time we get 5. Now, does our goal change? Does our goal change in breeding? Now, we only did 2 cullings, right? We only did 2 sets of cullings. Two generations of cullings. Does it change what we doing? Okay, first time we got 3. The second time in our process, we got 5 that made the cut. Now, out of these 5 that made the cut, we do our breeding right. What are we expecting? What are our goals? Last time we had 5 off of 10. Now, if we get a litter of 10 and we only get 3, something ain't going right, right? Something ain't going right. In our culling process, if we going backwards in how many dogs you get that make the cut, and we going backwards, that means there's no purpose in culling. No purpose at all. The only purpose in culling is to move forward. You cannot cull over and over and over and over again, and you still having to cull your whole litter. At least that's the purpose of culling. If I cull once, some don't make it, some do. The next litter should be better because we did culling. That's the reason for culling. The next litter should have a little bit more that we don't got to cull. Then we know we succeeded off this one, right? Because if we don't get at least what we got or more, then what was the purpose? Is what I'm saying. Now, we get 5 puppies that we can keep off that one. Now we do another breeding. After we made our cull, we culled 5, we kept 5. 5 of the best ones. They made it. We kept them. We bred these up. Should you be at 5, 3, 4, 2? Or should you be going up to 6? Should you be going up to a litter worth of fire puppies? What I'm saying is, if you're not expecting to go up every single time, why cull? Why do that? And for brothers who don't know what cull mean, it just means take the dog. He can't be in my program. Somebody else can have the dog. You can have him, do what you want to with him. He can't be in my program. My program got to go a certain way, and most of the time, if I'm going to cull him, I want to give you the paper so you can go out here and do all this other stuff with him and then have that particular breed not that looking bad. You know what I'm saying? So I won't even give you the papers on him if I'm going to give him to you. He culled, which means he's dead on the registration. You know what I'm saying? But you can get this dog and do what you want or whatever and have him as a great pet the rest of your life. You just can't register him up because I'm doing a certain thing with these dogs that I'm breeding and coming off my line, and I need for them to look a certain way and act a certain way. And if you doing things with the cull dogs that's going to represent me out there, and these dogs should have been culled, it's going to make the dogs look bad. So all I'm saying is, when we do culling, what's the purpose? And what's the point? To make better and better dogs, man. And make better and better dogs. And there's no limit. When and this is another thing I'm gonna ask you. When do you stop culling? When is it time to stop culling? Is it ever time to stop culling? If you steady trying to get great bulldogs, culling never stops, right? But what's worthy of being on the yard and what's cut cull material? Once you start getting to where you done did a whole lot of culling. Because I don't think everybody culling that much. I think you may cull 1 or 2 times. And I'm speaking modern day times now, because brothers back in the days, they did it. But they still did it to a certain extent. At a certain extent, them brothers went to selling and using in different things. So when is it really culling? And another thing, do you consider selling culling? Because some brothers may consider they getting rid of this as culling as getting rid of it from off my yard, but I'm selling it to somebody else. Somebody else can still have it and represent them. So culling can be looked at different ways. And like I said, man, I don't think it's a right and a wrong answer to this. I just think it's everybody's opinion. When it's too much culling. Sometimes, I feel like the word breeding best to best may be a better word to use than culling. Because culling, ask yourself, do you want a dog that somebody was going to cull? Do you want a dog that, somebody was going to cull on their yard? Are they telling you, oh, I'm about to cull it? You want that dog? But you would take a dog and you feel more easier having a dog that, these brothers breeding best to the best, and you feel like, oh, they might not sell me their best, but it's a good dog. So you're going to feel better with the best, with the best of the best statement, you know what I'm saying? Because brothers can breed the best of the best of what they feel like is the best of the best of the yard, and then sell you a dog and it ain't the dog that fit, the best of the best criteria on their yard, but you still got a good dog, you know. So what is the culling process? And do culling just go with the old school when brothers used to just delete the dogs, take the dogs' lives? And this is the thing. When they took the dog lives, was it a selfishness thing, or was it a trying to create my own stuff thing? Because if the dog is nothing, but like I said just a few minutes ago, you don't want a sorry dog to go out and be bred somewhere and represent your line in a sorry way. But then again, at the same time, that same dog can be bred with a dog and make the best dogs ever, and you don't get credit for it. And, be better than your dog. So it can go both ways, man. Now, this is the question I want to ask. How can you cull puppies without it being, I don't want somebody else, a selfish thing? How can you cull puppies? You don't know what it's going to do yet. And I'm talking about all the way back in the 70s, 60s, 50s, 40s. How can you cull puppies unless it's just something wrong with them, or it's something, you got some kind of defect or something, or his body not formed all the way or something like that. But how can you cull puppies? You have to wait till the dog is full grown to actually see the full potential of the dog. Some dogs don't start up. We all see dogs that don't start up till they in their 3s and 4s. Dogs that don't start up till they a year and a half, 2 years old is common as hell. You're going to run into that all the time. Dogs that don't start up till they 2 years old, 2.5 years old. So how can you cull dogs until they get level or age of maturity? So is anybody doing the cull process right? Or did the cull process right if they didn't wait till these dogs were full grown, check these dogs, see what they was going to do, then how can you cull them? Let the dog give them somewhere, get rid of them. Like I said, what's culling? I'm going to just tell you what I think. When I think of culling, when I hear the word culling, I always think of puppies, getting rid of certain puppies while they're young that you don't need on your program. That's what I think in my head when I hear the word. It don't normally go to the adult dogs. You know what I'm saying? It don't normally go to the adult dogs because that normally be your cur talk and your cold talk and stuff like that. It don't normally lead to cold talk with adults. That's mostly with puppies. So how can you cull a puppy is what I'm asking. You cull the ones that ain't the color that you want them? I'm like I said, I don't know the answers to this stuff. I'm asking my brothers and sisters down in the chat and the ones watching this video, drop down in the comments as well if you got an answer for me. What is it, man? That's just my opinion. I don't feel like you can cull a puppy unless there's something defect wrong with the dog or something wrong with the dog. Just healthy little puppies, I don't feel like you can cull them off what you see right then. This dog that you might feel like is not as cranked up as the other dogs might be the best dog when he get grown. And you made the worst move. So like I said, I want somebody to come up here and show me where it's documented that you need to wait 4 generations to start your bloodline, and who started that and what year that started in. Who started first, the blue dogs or start your pedigree after 4 generations? Let me know that, man, and let me know, when it comes to what we're talking about right now, man. Now, I could definitely understand if there's certain things like you might could tell a puppy got a hellified underbite or something like that, or maybe it's not the colors that you're looking for, or you could tell it's going to be shaped a little different than you want because you're going to the confirmation shows and you feel like it may be shaped a certain way. You may, get rid of some young dogs then. But when it comes to young dogs, you never know, man. They grow certain ways and they outgrow a lot of this stuff that you see when they 3 and 4 months old. They may look a certain shape, but then dogs grow in stages. Sometimes they grow tall and skinny. Sometimes they grow, wide and then get taller later on down the line. They grow in different stages, and every dog is different when it comes to their where they growing. You know, everybody feeding their dog different kinds of food. Different food's gonna pump different dogs up different ways. You know, so we'll look at a puppy and be like, oh man, that's an ugly puppy, but it turned out to be a great looking dog because he had to fill out in all the ways. You know, sometimes they just not fill out yet. They might look long, but then they grow up, so all of it catch up and look evened out, you know, and that's just the way it go with them dogs, man. And like I said, drop down in the chat, my brothers and my sisters. You know, when is too much, or when do I stop culling? If I ever stop culling, should I always cull? And what is the difference between culling and breeding best to the best? You know, and would you take a dog that should be culled? If I say, if I got a litter of 10 puppies, and I tell you I'm gonna keep these 3, I'm culling the rest of them. Do you want them puppies? You know? But if I'm using the words, I breed best of the best, you know, with my program, I'm breeding these 3. Would you take the rest of them? I feel like I have a better chance of you taking the rest of them when I say I'm breeding best of the best, because it make you feel a little more like I'm not giving you a sorry dog. When I say the word cull, it makes you feel like I'm giving you my trash. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, like I said, drop down in that chat. Y'all hit that like button up, man. It's your boy PB Canines giving you that dog news the way I always do. Fair and unbiased, raw and uncut. Like I tell my brothers, that breaking news come when it come. You know, we had a marathon of them dog attacks today, man. To my brothers and sisters that just logging in, we watched a bunch of videos on pit bull attacks across the country over the past week and a half, 2 weeks. You know, and I haven't give the news the way I was supposed to give on actual animal attacks over the past couple weeks. You know, so you probably missed out on certain things. But we got it all today, man. And like I said, y'all have a great holiday. Y'all stay safe out there for sure. Stay legitimate with these dogs. Stay right with yourself. You know what I'm saying? And just do the right things, man, when it comes to taking care of them and the health needs for these dogs. We already talked about heartworm treatment and overheating in dogs. You know, if you in them exercises and events where you're going to need a lot of endurance, you know, you always got to make sure your heartworm's straight, whether you're doing anything or not. You know, but specifically when you're in that type of stuff, your dog will shut down on you faster with them heartworms. You know what I'm saying? And to the brothers that, you know, you want to talk all this trash, you know what I'm saying, but you ain't sophisticated as you think. You know, you don't heartworm your dogs. You don't do certain things. You don't check the blood count to see what this is, see if he low, see why he ain't eating and this and that. You know what I'm saying? You got to do things other dog men ain't doing. You know, it's too much advanced stuff out here for brothers today's time when it comes to these dogs. Like I said before, you can get a little handheld machine to check your dog blood count that you can order offline. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff you can order. And you know what to give, you know, when to give and how to give it. You know, and that's just all it is to it, man. It boils down to trial and error on a lot of things on that particular situation. You know, do culling boils down to trial and error? You know, explain to me this culling situation. When can I stop culling? Or when can I stop using the word culling? You know, and like I said, man, nobody's answers are wrong, unless you're just trying to be a asshole. So at the end of the day, man, I want to say thank you. I appreciate all my brothers and sisters out there that rock with the channel. You know, whether I get on your nerves sometime or not, you know, appreciate all of y'all. It is what it is. Y'all stay legal. Y'all stay safe. And we out.